Hello, today we talk about arrays and slices. The objectives, first we have to give some description about arrays and slices and how to manipulate them. We also see how to use one over the other because arrays and slices are not the same. There are some difference between them. After this lesson, you'll be able to do some declaration and initialize about arrays and slices. We'll also see how to assign and access element of an array or any slice. We'll see some built-in function in arrays and slice. We also see how to use in one use case how to give some example of about slices using a use case like how to categorize age from child and youth and adults ages. So first, what are arrays and slices in Go? We can define them as some like data structure that consists of an ordering sequences. For instance, we can have this like sequence of element with their indexing. So you see, for instance, if it is integer, so this is a sequence of elements. We can define them as like that. And also, why we have to use erase and slice in Go? They're helpful when working on many related values. For instance, we can have many values that can be integer or strings. So it also helps to condense your code. This is why many developers use arrays or slices in Go. Basically, we can define arrays in as a sequence of element of the same type. For instance, a sequence of integers or a sequence of strings. One important thing is that the size of an array must be known at compile time. That means cannot be changed once you define them. You cannot change the size of an array. Basically, we can define arrays in this form. For instance, the name of the arrays, the size, and the type of the array. For instance, here you can see we have one array. In this, we have array. This is a pen. See, array of size 3. We start from 1 to choose the index. We can also declare array at the same time we initialize them. For instance, here we declare an array name is 3 with the default value that is 1 1 2 3 5. So here is one example about how to access element of an array. For instance, here you consider a colors arrays that contains exactly 4 elements. So we declare our array here, that is here. You see the size is 4 and is array of strings. So the first element is accessed by index 0. We have color 0 that we give value blue, then 1 2 3 that we give for the index of 3 we give the color yellow. So to access, for instance, a value, we can access by the index of the element, the position of the element that we want to get. For instance, if you want to get this, when we assign this index 1, we retrieve the element at index 1, that is this one, green. So here it can print, when we print it, we'll get the green color because we want to get the element of size 1, that is here. So there's one important thing about arrays is that they are copied. It means when we assign an array to a new variable or passing it to this function, it will give a copy. It's like when you copy files or you copy a folder in your computer, you'll get the same element that is that in folder in your PC is the same idea. For instance, here when we copy an element inside, for instance, for this example, when we say you copy a white in this color that we define, this here we do like a copy about it, so it gives exactly the same color one. When we print it, we'll get exactly the same. But here we also, for instance, here for color one, we get exactly this pen here. What is here is what we get exactly for uh, is here. What we get here for blue, green, red, yellow is what we also get in color one. But after that, we say at position of the element index 2, that is 0 1 2 red. So now red will become white. It means after printing here, we just this one will become white. So we get at position index 2, we replace it by the white color. So for instance, so now we do some quick question to see your understanding about this arrays. So yeah, how do you access the first element of the color array? So we can access the first element of the color array by index 0, because we can index that is in many language, you start by 0 to n to get the index of an element. So to get the first element, we can access by color, that is color 0, to get this first element of the color. And what is the default values for element of a new array of integer? So when we create by default a new array of integer int, by default we can get automatically it assign them to 0 according to the size. If it's 3, it will be 3 0. So, and here there's one question that is very important. When we call color4, it will cause an error at compile time or a panic at runtime. So basically when we call, we try to call this color4, because we have the size is 4, and don't forget that we could start by index 1 2 3. So this means the size of the array. So when we try to call color4, it will give error at compile time, because the size is outbound of the lamp. So we cannot get this. It will be error at a panic at the compile time. But if we do like initially, like we give a value, for instance, we say okay, we give a one value that is m, we define it as m4. Then later we come, we call color m. Here, because this is not a syntax error, is not it will not give error at compile time, but it will give error at runtime, what you call a panic error. So this will happen here. But if we come directly, we say color4 here, because this is not here. The four index cannot be found in the site, so it'll give again error at compile time. But if we give, we declare a parameter m that we give the value of 4, when we call it here, it will give error at panic time. So you have to make the difference between compile time error and the panic and the runtime error. So now let's talk about slices in Go. A slice is like an array, but the size is not fixed. We can have we can change the size of a slice, and also the declaration of a slice. Here we see we don't have, if it is an array, the main difference we see in array we have declaration about this, or directly we give the size of the array, but in slice we don't have to give the size. So this is one important difference about how to do declaration about slice then compared to the declaration about arrays. So these are some basically some example that we give here. Here we give a slice that we didn't give the size, and here we declare and slice of a integer, then here we give a slice of strings. So here you'll come back to write this code about giving to give a scenario on how we can use to understand basically the importance of slices. Suppose now we have people that age are categorized in three groups. For instance, from 0 to 14 years, we can call them as children. Then from 15 to 24, them usually we can call them as youth. Then the final categories is adults that age from 25 to 64 years old. So you can see this, we can use slice to do this category of people. For instance, if we give this declaration age 0 15, is it mean we are going to get the first 15 elements of the age. That means from 0 to 40. This exclude the 15 index, because from 0 to 14 we have already our 15 numbers of age. So slicing does not alter the age array. So as you can see here, we have just a part or a view. Sometimes you call them a view of the array. It's one part of the array that we want to work on it. So for instance, as we see here, we see when we do the 15 0 is mean what? We are going to start at age of index 0 and finish of at age index 14, because we exclude the index 15. So by default, when when we omitted the first element of uh, the default element of the beginning like this, is mean that we are going to go until the last element before 15. That means 14 years old. And omitting the last index default to the length of the array is mean that you are going to get from this value to the length of the array. Then now when we omitting both, is mean we give it slide that contain all ages. We'll come back to write this in replit.com, that is an EDU for writing Go language programming, Go code. So basically we can give one example about how to work with slicing in Go. For instance, you can also apply the slice syntax for arrays. This is a simple example of a string. For instance, we get this name that you call university. So when we slicing this by from 0 to index 5, because 6 is excluded. So we can see here when we print s1, we get 1 here. For instance, u, because u is the first string that you can get here, then n, then I, then e, then b, that is univer. So you see, then the second example is when we slide from the index 6 to the end. So when we count from 0 to 6, you can see that we start from s, then until the end, that give this city. So there's one important function in go, that is the append function for slice it. So it's like the println function that we can add many, we can pass many elements to the append. It's the same way we can do for the slide append. For instance, we give again our example about color slice. So here we have our colors, that the string of color here. So when we append white, the white will just be at the end of yellow. That is just because we just add this inside the giving value. So we append this inside the slide. So we append white to what will come just here. Then after yellow, we'll get our white colors. Here also, when we come for the second example, here when we append also, it means that we are just going to add all this again after our yellow value, because we use the append inside here. So it should be noted that is different example, but if we have already add white, the white will also be find here. So it means we'll add all this after white. But if it's separate example, to explain, only what we have append will be added to the previous one. So before going to the dynamic example about the code, we talk about some built-in functions that are very important in erasing slice. So we have what we call length in many, like in Python. We also have the length of an array. So that is basically the number of elements that we have inside the arrays. So for instance, here we give a simple example. We have array that we initialize here from 5670. So as you can see here, the length is 4. If you count here, the number of element is exactly 4. And the array have also capacity, but that capacity is constant compared to the slice capacity that we talk about it later. As you can see here, the capacity about the array, this example is again 4, because it's exactly the number of element, and no more space to insert, because the array size is fixed. This is why it says the capacity should be constant. There's one important thing function, like how to create an array, how to create a slice. Then you can see here, for instance, make t x. That means what? We are going to create a slice of type t with length x and capacity x. So as you can see here, we give this example. So we create slice of integer that the size is 5, and also the capacity is 5. There's another way of getting the same thing of slice, that is make t x or y. Here is basically the same, but the capacity now is not x, is y, as you can see here. So this, the capacity is 10 and the size is 5. Slice have also length is an array. So as you can see here, the length of the slice is 4, and the capacity that is called cap a is also is 5, and the capacity also is sorry, is 4, and the capacity also is 4. So one important function is the copy function that we can see here about our slice. So when we try to do a about like copy the slide, copy cd, is mean what? We are going to copy this you are going to copy from d to c, and the length is the minimum of the two length of it means the minimum of length d and length c. So to give a simple example, suppose we have this slide c and you have slide d. So we are going to copy this slice from slide c to slide d, you see. So when you do this copy, it means just you are going to just extend this inside the first one. So what we do here, because we have 5, 6, 7, 8, and we copy this we copy from C to D, but the size of C is here. We have we can see here 4. So and the copy from C to D should just give what? We are just going to replace this. That will give only our here. What is C? That is here. We are going to copy from C, right, to D. So since they are not side, so it just give the two element, the first two element of, because don't forget here, this the 2 is the size of the slide. So it not it just gives the first two element of that slide that we'll see in the code. So the append function, we have already talked about it. So it's going to do append from one slide to another slide. For this example also, we just have, you see, we append 4, 5 in slide 1. So when we print them, we just add this 4 and 5 in where? In this. So that's slide 2 will just give the first slide plus the value that we append inside them. So before going to give some practical example, we talk about the difference between arrays and slices to summarize them. So as we have already talked about it, you have to remind that the size of an array is fixed, but for slice, the size is variable. It can be changed or is mutable. Then we can pass value, the copy for array, and for slice, it is passed by references. One important thing is that we can do array are comparable because we have this you can do one array equal to in a second array, but in slice we don't have this. Why? Because the size of slice is not fixed, so we cannot do comparable about slicing. So and usually they have some is use a function parameter array, while the slice are used as a pseudo content. So now we go about to do our example about age. Don't forget we have said that suppose we have this age category from 0 to 0 to 40. We say this from 0 to 40, we call them age children. Then from 15, so mathematically, yeah, then from 15 to 40, we have said that there is young youth. Then the final category of the age we give in the example, we say that from age 25 to 64, we call them adults. So now, if you want, so let's do declaration about this. We call them age maybe 60, 65 because we don't want to go more than that. So for I 0, I less than in reply plus we do what? We give to age equal what? I. So, right. So when we give age equal 8, it mean what? So if you want to do for instance, for the children, you can say children, we do our slice that we can give them is what? The range we want is we say from 0 to 15. Sorry, the age 0 15. Then now we can try to print for instance, we can try to print them. It is children. All right, because this will give what? Oh, this is I forget that this is we didn't make the age first. I forgot to declare the slice age. Our make of int in, right. So yeah, and then here we want to give right in, yeah. So um, the internet, because this replayed online replayed. Yeah, the declaration about the in. I give the declaration. Oh, let's the internet, because this is online ED for the call reply to do is like playground. So the age, we create our age slide, make okay. Then for E0 less E plus plus, we do what? Age I, we give I. Then now if you want children, you can say hours like children, that is age 0 15, because 15 is exclude. Then we can now try to print our children to see the okay. Sorry, say if oh, forget this age. Where do oh This is oh, it's not sorry, is a make that int and the size that is in. Okay, then even the print function is lt make yeah. So we see we get our slice of children, that is we say from the ppt here in this example. You remember we talk about this this we talk about it here. This one we say will come back from what is it, this one, age grouping using slide to this scenario. So you see, then if you want for instance for the youth slice, we can also do it is age, we say from which year, from 25 to no, we say from 15, you have say from 15 to 24, so we stay on 25. Then we can also print, if you want we can just print it. So we go do line, go to the line, and we can print our also the youth. So it's internet that it updates because it's using internet about it. So we can see also we have our inter ages about the youth. Same thing about adults. We just, for instance, we can also say this just adults to go first. Adult age, we say from 25 to 64. So we stay on 65. So we can just call it this adults. So you see, we get the interval age about our adults. So that is all for today. Listen, thank you, and see you next time.